off streets. Get guns off the streets. That is why we are here today.
That's right. That's right.
To get these guns off of our streets. We are losing too many lives in our community.
Right.
We've told Washington it's time to change these laws, and we will not stay quiet. No justice.
No peace.
They will always try to switch the narrative and make people believe that by us being here, we're in the wrong. But we are here out of love.
Love.
We're not breaking any windows or destroying property. Whites, blacks, Latinos, and our Asian brothers and sisters are all here together out of love, truth, and what's right. We're not the ones here with weapons, batons, and tasers. We are here to say things must change.
Things must change. Things must change. Things must change.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, before we go on with the rest of our scheduled program, I'd like to bring up Rodney, the Professor Scott, to bless us with one of his inspiring songs.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. I don't have my band with me, but they were able to get in the studio and put this down for us last night. I think it fits the cause of what we're going for. Well, I won't apologize that you don't like the color of my skin, or the fact that I bleed red just like you do. Does it offend you that I try the best to live my life, while the while I riot for my rights? Exhausted seeing young men dying of hate crimes, gun violence, fatally taken by the modern day whips, or locked up in modern day ships. Constant complaints about our race as I listen to sounds of the privileged. Octaves, all I hear are octaves. Yellow to red to brown to ebony, but ivory's the highest. Octaves, all I hear are octaves. Yellow to red, brown to ebony, but ivory's the highest.
At the same time. You know what I'm saying? I heard the shots. Everybody heard the shots. But in that moment, you don't know which way to run. You don't know if they're aiming at you. You know what I'm saying? Then the body falls next to you. That's when I stopped. Whatever way I was running didn't matter, because now I knew he saw me. I'm the only thing in the open standing still. Of course I stood out. So I closed my eyes and waited, knowing the next shot could end my life. The sounds? I remember them all. The screams, the people getting trampled, the train, the plane. He was shooting some powerful shit, man. I heard bullets rip through flesh. I remember all the sounds. A reporter asked me that night, "How long were you standing there?" I don't know. What an insensitive, dumbass question. 15 people died. But I heard 32 shots. Another reporter asked, How do you know it's 32? I know because I hear those 32 shots all day long, every day. If they want to know how long I was there, get a stopwatch. Time me as I go through each one because I can. And it'll be the exact same time, every time. 7 more were wounded, critically. You know what he did with those other 10 shots? He toyed with me. I counted each one as it ripped the concrete around me. I was stupid, I stopped. I'm saying I'm stupid because that's what he must have been saying. The stupid motherfucker. But that's what I'm saying. When that shit's going down, everybody reacts different. You know what I'm saying? The people who got trampled, that was because they fell down. They fell down because they were scared. You lose control of your whole body when you're scared. The 7th shot, I pissed my pants. Even after I stopped hearing shots, I stayed and stood there. I wasn't gonna move. I didn't move until a paramedic came up and said, "It's okay, they got him. Let me cover you up. Come with me to the truck." That was the first time I opened my eyes. I have lived with this torture every day since then. Whether I'm awake or asleep. When awake, I hear the shots. When asleep, I see the shots because in my dreams, my eyes are not closed. The police investigator told me that me standing there saved a lot of lives. That him shooting all those shots on the ground around me allowed them enough time to get close. Your act of courage was admirable. You're a hero. I had no courage. I'm no hero. I pissed my pants.
Why? Whew. Why is a question that can make you crazy if you think about it too much, because there isn't any. Sometimes, most times, there isn't any why a thing happens, a terrible thing. Someone decides to do something. Why my town? Why my neighborhood? Why my son? To make a name, to be famous? Because they're angry, sad, misunderstood, insane. Why me? You can lose your shit. You know, asking. What answer do you expect anyway? What motivation could there be? What could possibly satisfy? Are you seriously looking for justification for this? We're always looking for justice. People, we're never satisfied with less. The superhero has to kill the supervillain. But you grow up, or you're supposed to anyway, and you realize there is none. In the real world, justice isn't real. It doesn't happen. How can you pay someone back for all they have taken? How can someone pay for Jason? I have fantasies, you know, about that. I have them in a basement. No one knows he's there. I have tools. I make him scream. I make him cry, beg, over and over again. I give him hope, and then take that hope away. He dies slowly, cruelly. justice. I think, God help me, I think that would be fun. To hurt him and keep hurting him. That's the ultimate mindfuck. The scariest part about why? Because when you get past your humanity and you really look at motivation, when you get past your fear and stare right in the face of why objectively, honestly, and you put yourself in that person at that time, then you know why. Why? You really want to know why? Because it was fun. The running, the shooting, the begging, the blood, the tears, everything we find abhorrent, that piece of shit love, he thought that was fun. And no one wants to admit that that's why, but that's why. That's why I don't have Jason anymore. Some sick fuck wanted to have fun.
Robin's voice rang clear over the receiver. There was an active shooting at Oliver's school. Fear is an interesting thing. It washes over you and it makes time freeze. My hands became so numb, I almost dropped the phone. I hung up and immediately grabbed my keys and headed there. When I arrived, I saw the area was blocked off. Police, firemen, and paramedics were all on site. And I saw a parent of one of Oliver's friends, so I ran over to see if she knew any details. And she told me a student brought an AK-47 to school, and the only news she had was that the principal was killed and that the kid has hostages. Can you imagine a kid holding kids hostage? Where do they learn these things? I'll tell you where. On television. On social media. There's just too much violence in this world, and our children are exposed to it every day. Caroline yelled, "They're letting them go!" I looked in the direction she was pointing and noticed police escorting students behind the yellow tape and around the fire engines, and I'm scanning the faces, but these kids look to be in 2nd or 3rd grade. Oliver is in the 5th. My husband, Robin, showed up, we hugged. Officers are continuing to move our line away from the front of the school. Then one put his hand on me and I lost it. "Don't put your fucking hands on me." He's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I understand." You understand? Do you have a son in there? He shakes his head no. Then you don't understand shit. Got mad at my husband because he's telling me they're only doing their job. Their job is to get my son out of there alive! We received news later that the boy, a 5th grader, had taken his own life. Apparently, he brought in several weapons and used a handgun on himself. Finding out he was in 5th grade, same as my Oliver, freaked me out. I instantly was unconscious when I woke. I didn't recognize anyone around me. A fireman said they started letting other students out and your husband went to look for your son. A paramedic is telling me I shouldn't move right now, and a policeman is telling me to calm down. They need to train these first responders better. He actually handcuffed me to the gurney like I'm the criminal and not a concerned mother. I'm screaming, "Let me go! Let me go!" And then I hear my son's voice. "Mom, I'm here. It's okay." It's hard to explain my body's experience. Relief. I sued the city for the way I was treated that day. And yeah, I won.
It was a good day. I got some things done around the house I had neglected. The sun was shining, weather good. I still had enough time to watch a little TV, to get a nice nap before I had to go to work at 3 p.m. I got comfortable in my armchair, turned on the TV, and I see breaking news about a shooting. The reporter says there was a shooting at Sandy Hook. 27 victims, including 20 children, were murdered. First emergency calls came in around 9:35 a.m. I mean, we could be going about our day, thinking we're going back home after running an errand, and boom, some nuthead starts shooting. A theater, a park, a mall, and in this case, a school. I'm a custodian at that school and knew someone was gonna have to clean that up. Then I see on the screen the building I work in. Oh my God! I'm thinking, come on God, please. I don't wanna have to clean up after something like this. I'll take shit over blood any day. I'm like, damn, am I going to have to clean up the blood of someone I know? People I talk to on the regular? When I get to work, there are police still around, and it looks like a war zone. I still don't know who died. The news didn't mention any names of the victims. When I walked in, it smells bad, and there's blood everywhere. Puddles of blood. Blood smeared like someone was trying to get to safety. Handprints in blood, footprints in blood, broken glass, turned over furniture. I almost feel like I can hear the spirits, feel their spirits. The boss tells me it's okay to start cleaning after the biohazard teams are done. Have to get the place looking normal again. What does that mean? And where do I even start? I got a bucket of water and a mop. I noticed the biohazard team, they did a pretty good job. As the mop and the water hit the floor, I'm thinking, whose child am I mopping away? Parent leaves a child at school, think they're gonna see them at the end of the day. And what if this is the blood of that lady who was ready to retire so that she could start traveling the world, not knowing today would be the end of her world? I threw up. Couldn't take it. That quick, I needed a break. Got myself together. I did my job. And hope that I did some good after all that bad. The boss comes back to see the progress. Says it looks good and clean. But I can feel their spirits. And I wonder, will it ever be clean?
All right. You want to know what's got me so fucked in the head? Let's go there. About 13 years ago, I told myself I'd make a good Marine. I have great judgment. I'm dependable. I'm decisive. I'm tact, and I get the job done no matter what. And you know something? I was right. I did make a good Marine. Right out of high school, I signed up and did 2 tours in Afghanistan. What they show on the news is basically Saturday morning cartoons compared to actually being there. The things I saw and did. That shit fucks with you, man. But despite how fucked it all was, I did my duty and completed my missions. Enough about my military career! You wanna know why I did what I did? Well, that was a mission!
got back home to the States. It was hell. I couldn't sleep. I was jumpy and not the same person. I was alone. Just me and this noise in my head. It just wouldn't... Shut up! I tried everything to make it go quiet. I drank, I smoked, I popped pills, but fuck, man, nothing worked. Especially none of that PTSD meetings bullshit. Nothing except firing a weapon. I built up my arsenal. Most of the guys spent their GI Bill on school, buying a house, partying. But me, I spent it on lead. Assault rifles, shotguns, handguns, you name it, I had it. I'd often go to the range to blow off some steam. Pulling the trigger and taking down my targets made me feel at peace. Like everything just made sense, you know? No noise. But I can only shoot at fake targets for so long. I missed the feeling of taking another person's life. Honest to God truth, the satisfaction of seeing my target go down was exhilarating. A sense of relief. Combine that with that fucking noise in my head. I did what I had to do. You people don't understand what it's like to come home and be looked at and treated like I'm a nut job. It fucking broke me, man. I snapped. So yeah, I killed people at that mall. Geared up with an AR-15 and a Glock 20. I made my way to the biggest mall in the city. Showed up, rifle in hand, ready to go. No security at the front. I made my way in. The noise started ringing in my head. So I opened fire. Short controlled bursts, carefully picking my targets, going for any stragglers and finishing off those I wounded. I made my way across the whole mall, telling myself, he's down, she's down, as if I was back in Afghanistan. Eventually, though, it came to an end. I was in some clothing store where I cornered a woman and her child. My AR was long out of ammo, so I switched to my handgun and executed the woman in front of her boy. I remember the crying face of that kid, holding on to his dead mother. But I had to complete my mission. I raised the Glock to the boy's head and fired. But click, 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 click. I was out of ammo, and just stood there like a fucking amateur. It was over. Now here I am. You know something? I thought after it was all said and done, the noise in my head would stop. All the hate, anger, and sadness in my mind would just go quiet, and I'd finally feel peace. But it never stopped. I couldn't beat it. I completed my mission, but the noise is still there. It ain't ever going away. I can't beat it. Take me back to my cell.
I remember everything as if it happened this morning. I remember what time I woke up, what I made for breakfast. I even remember what I wore for work. A black pencil skirt and a pink silk blouse with my favorite shoes. Breakfast didn't last very long. Adam rushed through his food without even thinking. He was nervous because he had a biology exam that day, and he was almost certain he was going to fail. He was always certain he was going to fail, but he never did. I think he'd just tell himself that, just in case, you know? I dropped him off at school, kissed him goodbye, and assured him he was going to do fine. I told him I'd bring Chinese for dinner, and that perked him right up. I was a little ahead of the clock that morning, so my drive to work was fairly mellow. The radio was on the classical music station. They were playing the theme song to Somewhere in Time. A beautiful song. It was just a very pleasant morning. Everything was running smoothly, easy. At around 9 o'clock, I was at my desk entering some data on the computer when I received a text from Adam. Someone is shooting on campus. When you get a message like that, your heart just drops into your stomach. Your body can't move, yet your mind starts racing at 1,000 miles per minute. I asked him where he was, if he was somewhere safe, if he was alone. He said he was in his biology classroom. The teacher had locked the doors, turned off all the lights, and they were all huddled in a corner of the room. I told him to just stay calm, keep hidden, and to run when he gets the chance. No looking back, just run. I mean, what other help could I give? In a situation like that, a parent feels so helpless. He said, "I'm okay, Mom. I'll be okay." That was his last message. You know, the funny thing about heartbreak is it doesn't actually kill you. It should. The following weeks were so surreal. I couldn't turn on the news without seeing my son's killer on the screen. I probably heard that kid's story about 12 times. He came from an abusive family. He was bullied as a child, dealt a lot with depression, even threatened suicide on multiple occasions. As a mother, it is disheartening to hear that someone so young has had to deal with all of these issues. And it's sad when their pain becomes so entwined in their minds that they trap themselves in it, unable to see a way out. But when you decide to take down the lives of other people, innocent people who are just living their day the best that they can, that's where all sympathy goes out the window. I had a good kid, a loving kid, the kind of kid who jumps in front of another student to block bullets from getting to her. That's who my son was. I don't care who the shooter was. There's a lot of parents right now who have to learn how to come home and not see their child there. I'm still learning how to live without my son. Not a day goes by that I'm not reminded of what happened. I still can't watch Somewhere in Time because of that song. For 17 years, it's just been Adam and me. Then, one day, some coward who wants to feel like God decides to rip him from my world. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It doesn't matter what you've been through or how unjust you think the world has been to you. You will never earn the right to take an innocent life. Never. If you want to go, go alone. Leave my son here.
The whole time you're learning to be a teacher. And mind you, I didn't ever see myself as becoming one. They tell you shit like, if students know your politics, you failed. Like the whole idea of what we're doing in our classroom is now just supposed to be subject and object. Like I have a subject, and I give to them, like objects. Like they're just an empty vessel and I'm supposed to fill it. Isn't life partly, maybe mostly, about how we react to things, how we see it, push it around, grapple? Isn't it mostly how we blend it with the massive collective of perspectives that flood in and out of our consciousness every day and come up with something new? I would say there are those that say yes. And there are those that absolutely want to keep reproducing the same things over and over. Like, our school just bought these devices that we put on our door. We go into lockdown, get the code word that there's an active, whatever. We lock down. Teachers are supposed to put this on the door. It keeps it from opening. Kid outside the door doesn't make it back from the bathroom in time? Oh well. We're supposed to lock him out. He could be the shooter, you see. Pretending. That's what they say. And if we're locked down for hours, guess what? We have a sheet of plastic to put up so kids can use the wastebasket as a toilet. Really. Gone through trainings for it. Because the idea that I, as an educator, should ever point out that we have unparalleled access to guns in the country, that's more damaging to a kid than having to shit in a trash can while their classmates are being murdered? That's what will break them? Me saying we have fucked up priorities? Or if I suggest that we are obsessed, socially speaking, obsessed with individual rights, to the point that we ignore that individual rights are a collective idea, that's somehow going to make kids, what? Care about each other? Recognize how we need each other? The humanity! So instead, I get to live in this perpetual state of fear that one of these kids is going to get missed. We're going to miss one of these kids because we don't have the resources to catch them all. And he's going to come massacre other kids right before blowing his brains out in the library. Right there on the little stage where the army recruiters come tell kids a career and a good salary. Those are the things you should be striving for. 3 things that happened in the last month. Kid got sent home last week for his Black Lives Matter t-shirt. Principal said it would cause violence. A parent sent an angry email to the superintendent because another teacher said that this country incarcerates black men at a rate of 3 to 1 compared to white men of the same age. My school district bought a stockpile of a special cleaner that gets blood out of carpets, just in case. Which one upsets you? Which one should?
It's crazy how the time passed. I glared at the clock. I heard the ticking. My hands grasping the desk for stability. My legs stiffened. Sweat running down my back as I'm staring down a barrel of a gun. He yelled, "Get down and shut the fuck up!" I wasn't saying anything. Too afraid. It was obvious he was on edge. They all were. I looked to my left, and people are being slammed to the ground and zip tied. My manager being walked at gunpoint to the safe. You hear about this on the news, and you think that would never happen to me. Well, it happened to me, and it's terrifying. Next thing I hear is, "Give me what you have in your drawers, bitch!" Feeling sort of relieved, because as long as he was ordering me to do something, he wasn't slamming me on the ground. He then threw a duffel bag on the desk and demanding me pack the money, screaming he'll shoot if I press the panic button. I already had. I'm wondering, did he see me do it? Is he testing me? I stuffed the bag, can feel my heart in my throat. And I heard the large man screaming at my coworker not to make any sudden movements. Bang! My coworker's body hit the floor. I guess she moved. I couldn't breathe. Nauseous at the sight of blood. Sirens are approaching. I'm like, oh my God. He's going to know I did it. Why didn't they come in silent? You know, sneak up on the bank. Why do they have to be all loud and shit? Cops are too cocky sometimes. Then the unexpected happened. Robbers panicked, gathered all their loot and dashed to the door, but the large man caught my gaze and pointed the gun at my forehead and said, "What the fuck are you looking at?" Something hot zooming past my ear. I just hit the floor. The last thing I hear is, "Freeze! Put your hands up!" And I was out. When I came to, I was in the back of an ambulance. The paramedics told me, "You're gonna be okay," asking for my name. And all I can say is, fuck, what a Friday.
Long live victims of gun violence. Green eyes. Try to throw that 15. I'm back to the block, my Glock hold 16. 19 alive, fought for my life. Made it back home, my little man dead and gone. 2017, 745, the first homicide. When 3 had got shot, was close to the block, the best taco shop. As soon as I heard, I check on my mans, pull up to his spot. His mama come out with tears in her eyes. She looked at my eyes, told me her son wasn't alive. That's when I felt the demon inside. She must they focus your eyes. Just watch when I see him. Say hell I'ma bring him. Just watch when I catch him. They soul I'ma snatch it. They won't see me in dreams. I'm the real Halloween. Won't care about cops when I run in the odds, keep winning the top. You play, you gon' lay, you can't run away. The Draco gon' spray. Drinking on Henny, no chase. Won't catch a case, won't see my face. I'm a blockers, no hope. Be smoking dope, bro, we just the code. These could change in your life. Locked in a cell, going through hell. Now jewelry look nice. I once said this twice, I ain't nothing nice, don't play with your life. Things could change in your life. Locked in a cell, going through hell. Now I once said this twice, I ain't nothing nice, don't play with your life.
I was shocked. The screaming voices of children, women and men. I was just there to buy groceries in a local store. But you know what we faced in Syria? Guns and the smell of explosives everywhere. I was scared of losing my family in all the destruction. I saw a mother grieving over the death of her son, stained in blood. He was shot 5 times. Nothing can compare to the sadness of such a young death. I ran away, went home immediately to convince my family it's time to leave. They refused. How could they not want to go to America? It's safe, it has laws, people can live happily there. I tried everything to convince my mother America was a better place to live, where everyone has fair opportunities. When she said yes, I was overjoyed. All I thought about was my family together, free from fear. It was difficult at first to adjust to new surroundings, but we gradually did. But no one can escape fate. My decision was wrong. I thought leaving my homeland would make me feel secure. And then to find ourselves in a gang war, bullets flying everywhere. Happiness instantly gone. My brother gone. Sister and mother crying. I, unable to cry. My brother took his last breath in my arms. What I felt cannot be described. Guilt, regret. He was very dear to me. There is no escaping fate.
You never think it'll happen to you, you know? Or think bad of your best friend. When we were kids, the worst thing he did was take my food without asking. Or take my phone charger, also without asking. But that he'd want to hurt other people? I mean, these people were our friends too. We see them every day. And yeah, people get on my nerves all the time. But God, never enough to do that. I wish I could understand. I mean, my best friend, a monster? How did I not see it? They were just kids, man. We partied with them last month. Why did he choose them? Of all the people the world's corrupted enough to do something this horrific, why my best friend? He wouldn't have hurt a damn fly. He was always there for me. Always wanted the best for me. Never let me talk bad about myself. The most genuine person you would ever meet. But then the strangest thing happened a few weeks ago. He practically disappeared. Hardly showed up to school, never asked to hang out, never invited me to his place either. If you knew him, you would know he was very sociable, but I couldn't get a hold of him, and he avoided me like the plague. I was so hurt. I'm left with a difficult decision, which I'm sure you're already thinking. Why would I be friends with him? Should I even visit him, or should I distance myself? The truth is, I don't know what to do. My heart aches for the person he used to be, but that's not him anymore. Is it ever? God, did I ever know him? I don't know how I didn't see it sooner. I feel like a terrible friend. I could have helped. I could have saved him. Could I have saved him? I know it seems cut and dry to anyone on the outside, I'm sure. How could you care for someone who shot up your school? I have an answer. I'm not sure if it's a good one, but I have one. He was my best friend. 10 years of friendship, and you want me to just throw that all away? Fuck that.
Oh, finally. You're back. What the hell happened? I talked with you. I told you everything. Next thing I know, I'm in a metal box talking on the phone with you. Did you talk with them? Good. Good. What did they say? No. I didn't conspire anything. I was held against my will, forced to do it. Evidence? I told you all my evidence. Don't be sorry. Fix my case. This is my life. I explained. I don't know these men, don't know anything about them. They took my wife. They took my daughter. They held a gun to my head and said either I do it or we all fucking die. I shouldn't be here. Please. This is wrong. I told you already. They took us. They broke us. And I tried hard to hold out as long as I could. But my family's lives were at stake. So I did it. And no one believes me. Just like they said. They had it all planned out, saying, once you're a criminal, everything you say is a lie. How does it feel defending someone the whole world thinks is a monster? You love it, don't you? Because you are gonna be famous. I've come to realize there is no justice, and your word, civilized, is wrong. They've been trained like animals for a circus. Feed them just enough not to turn on you, huh? But what happens when there isn't enough to go around anymore? You turn ordinary people into calm, collected killers. Like me.
My sister and I have always been very close. She's always been the person that I know understands me 100%. We have a bond that is very different. That day I remember she had already left for school when I woke up, and because our schedules were so different, we hadn't really seen each other too much. But I never give it much thought. And I'm sure she didn't either. Maybe it didn't feel like it because we were always texting, FaceTiming, and all that. I was getting ready. I had class that morning, and my mom gave me a ride. She was letting me drive. I was practicing for my license, but that day she seemed tense. I don't know, maybe her mother's intuition, but I could sense there was something off. My mom gets a call around 10:30. It was my sister's high school. They were in lockdown. They didn't say much, obviously, but your mind starts racing. My mother is the kind of person who starts assuming the worst. I calmed her down. I told her that most times schools do lockdowns for the simplest things, or because they are never sure what might happen, or for precaution. So yeah, I calm her down. get to my college, I get off, she drives home. 10 minutes later, I get a call from my mom. And she's just hyperventilating. She was in panic mode. And I got an Uber and went straight to the high school. I get there, I find my mom. There's hundreds of people. It was a mess. The cops were there. They wouldn't tell us anything. We all just assumed the worst. Well, we were there for a good 3 hours. Finally, a couple of cops and the sheriff come out and they told us what had happened. And, well, they confirmed that there had been death. When he said that, my heart just sank. I couldn't talk. Like I couldn't move. I held everything in for my mom. Because I didn't want her to know how scared I was. I wanted to seem confident and calm because I knew that her seeing me calm would give her some kind of security. They started calling the names of the kids that had died. And with every name they called, I could just hear how people just broke down. Every family. And all I could think was, don't call her name. Please don't call her name. And they did.
Never gets easier. You go to work, 7 to 5, you come home, sleep, wake up, shit, shower, shave, put on your uniform, and do it all over again. I joined the LA County Sheriffs because I thought I could make a difference, and no. Let's skip the bullshit. Truth is, I want to look badass. Carry cool gear, attract the cougars and badge bunnies. See that? I'm shaking over this. Discharged my firearm and took a life. Earlier today, my training officer was giving me the rundown on what to expect before arriving on scene. The day consists of domestic disputes, drunk drivers, robberies, and suicide attempts. Feedback on my progress handled pretty well. Urgent call came from dispatch. All hands on deck, shooting at a local community center. Flipped the siren, hit the gas, got there in 4 minutes. Rest of the units on standby and ready. Helicopters flying in circular patterns. Citizens behind yellow tape. News reporters everywhere. Reports of a male individual on a shooting spree holding hostages. I'm excited and afraid at the same time. Got my vest on, rifle locked and loaded. My training officer grabbed the shotgun, got it to my face and yelled, "Do you want to quit?" "No, sir." "Do you want to be here?" "Yes, sir." Then get your head out of your ass, focus on your training, and get on formation. We are getting them out. And mine twitched. Began leading the squad. Focus my rifle downrange as we move from room to room. An officer identified rooms being barricaded with survivors inside. Officer shouts, "Room clear! Stay inside! We'll come and get you once it's safe!" I hear cries and screams down the hall. As much as I wanted to help, I couldn't break formation.
Number one priority is eliminating the threat. We approached. I peeked inside the room, spotted the shooter holding a woman hostage. Drop your weapon! Let her go! Shooter repeatedly says, kill me! Take the shot! Do it! He shoved the hostage to the floor and aimed his weapon directly towards me. His last words were, shoot me, you fucking pussy! Before he could make the next move, I fired 2 shots into his chest and down he went silent. I hear ringings in my ears. We cleared the room while the woman on the ground crying and shaking. The medics came soon after and attended to her. Thank God she was okay. Something inside me changed after what I did, but I had to ignore it, focused on the job. Did it ever occur to me what I signed up for? I guess I never looked at the full picture. Maybe I should quit. Maybe I'm not cut out for this high-intensity work. I just took a life knowing his last words to me was, shoot me, you fucking pussy, and that life's never coming back. My training officer approached me and said, good work. He gently put his hand over my wrist as my finger quivered on the trigger and said something to me that I'll never forget. This is part of what's expected to happen on his job every damn day. It's never going to be a good and easy day unless you get used to it and move on. What separates an officer from a civilian is the will to do the right thing, and the brothers and sisters who signed up for this job understand that. For the will of evil can be equally matched by the will of the good. With that comes the will of every good man and woman.
There's been an investigation on the common reasoning as to why we have active shootings. Honestly, it pisses me off because the future's looking bleak. There are no solutions in sight. A heads up, I'm not holding back. Tired of this shit, man. Taxing my psyche to the core. So yeah, my professionalism is out the window. You can quote that if you like. To start with the history, we've been looking into mass shootings going back as far as 1966. Yes, they've been happening in this country that long. Fact is, they arrived since the dawn of this nation, if you want the real truth. But that's a different story we can discuss at a later time. Getting to why you're here, we specifically paid attention to all active shootings since 1999. There have been way too many just this year alone. We've searched media, manifestos, the whole 9 yards. We noticed major elements as to why these shooters do what they do. It's scary to discover all the similarities amongst these individuals. What we know, as facts, that many have suffered some sort of traumatic childhood experience. They've probably seen violence in the home due to some form of domestic dispute. A mother committing suicide to escape an abusive situation could be the trigger which sets the person off. These kids have seen some things. The second trait most have in common is something pushed them off the rails. For instance, a person telling them it's time to put in the work. It's time to make them pay. This is to show how they really feel inside, giving us a glimpse of how they view the world. But before we learned anything, the damage has already been inflicted. We're having to call in hostage negotiators to talk them down. The third thing they have in common, they staked out the location, reviewed and gone over details in which they plan to unleash their domestic terror. Okay. So here's a question. Is anyone here afraid that you can actually get footage of the Columbine massacre? I mean that these creatures of habit can analyze and study it? That they can collect mementos of these sick, disturbed people? And that someone can feel inspired and go out and do the same? What the fuck?
We have a long way to go.
It could change in an instant. Lesson learned, keep your distance. Consequence of a system. It's a shame we keep reliving. Some left dead, some critical. Yellow tape on the perimeter. Hostage situation going down. Yeah, something serious. My tactical team was on approach. We got that ass smashed like a roach. I thought moving fast was essential till we stepped in the world of some criminals. I had to go back and make a new plan. So sad, lost lives. Yeah, shit was dangerous. What the hell was we thinking? To go to war after drinking? Impaired, revenge seeking? This nigga done fucked with my weekend. I'm gonna have to put this fool down. Leave one more body on the ground. Cause it can change in an instant. It can change in an instant. It can change in an instant.
Friends often ask, do I regret having that protest? No. Do I feel responsible for the shootings which claimed 15 innocent lives? No. Regret? No. Responsible? No. Sad? Heartbroken? You can believe it. I will never stop being an activist. As long as guns roam our streets and injustice exists for women and people of color in this country. But I can wish, hope, like Rodney King said, that we all get along. Right. Racism and sexism are serious issues we face today. But what I found out on that horrible day is that we need to do better. America, we need to do better. We need to work together. In reading up on the family of the shooter, I was surprised to find they were not racist. He was not a racist. My thinking was, who else would fire upon a crowd, mostly BIPOC? I mean, I immediately jumped to that conclusion and assumed he must be. But I found he came from a loving family. A mother who had adopted 2 children from Sudan and raised them up, where both have received their college degrees. Jeremiah, the shooter, the biological son, was the best man at one of their weddings. Race had nothing to do with it. This was not some Republican against Democrat conflict. This was not a demonstration on the Capitol steps. This was a man suffering from a bipolar condition who did not take his medication.
My brother was bipolar.
That could have been any crowd. All white, all black, all Latino, all Asian. Only God knows why he did it.
Amen to that.
What that day did for me was miraculous. I am now not just an angry man wanting everyone to pay because we've been wrong too long. I came to the realization that I was not paying attention.
None of us.
People, mental illness is real. Just like racism. And I see that. I see it clear. That is why I have decided to split my time between 3 important causes. Mental illness, discrimination, and injustice. And I pray we can all join hands together to fight them all. Then maybe the innocent killings across our country will decrease. I hope. I pray.
Amen.